Lots of news this morning. We got
Yeah.
BlackRock, which I just mentioned, the world's biggest asset manager, filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF with Coinbase as crypto custodian.
That's the best part.
That is the best
I
part,
think that's
right?
one of the funniest parts because obviously right now the SEC has a case against Coinbase for a whole bunch of reasons, including not being registered, as a securities dealer, and of course the custodian business slightly different, but nonetheless it's I think it was an issue with the SEC and things like that. But it does make it kind of interesting that they as BlackRock files, BlackRock, of course, the largest asset manager in the world, they got trillions, not billions, trillions in assets. And that makes it a formidable, filer. It's not just some, crypto, native organization doing this. This is iShares, which is a subsidiary of BlackRock. So that makes it more potent, but it'll be interesting to see what the SEC. I have a guess what the SEC will say. It'll probably be a firm no, but it'll be nonetheless. Now you have real business here that wants to get in on it. So I don't know.
I was going to say, it feels like we're in the bull market again. We're talking about ETFs. We're going to talk about $1 million NFTs later. Feels like the news is picking up. Well, some are saying that this news is a positive development for regulatory approval, Lawrence. But on the other hand, we have Binance that is facing more regulatory upheaval. The exchange is under investigation in France for the illegal provision of digital asset services and acts of aggravated money laundering.
Aggravated money laundering.
Aggravated.
Really angry. Yeah, really aggravated. And they also had I think they're skipping out of the Netherlands. So this is and also an interesting thing. This is, of course, speaking of crypto native entities that are involved and coming up against regulators. They seem to have problems everywhere they are right now. It's not exactly the greatest thing. I mean, earlier in the week, basically we have Binance US saying that, they were going to have issues with fiat. And you also saw kind of a big sell-off as well on the alts in part, as all this is going on. And not a good, it's got to make the folks at Binance sweat a little with all the things that are happening to them right now. I think a lot of these crypto companies have been operating with the idea that they are above the law, or they're creating new law, or code is law and things like that. No, law is law. And, these countries have armed armies and lawyers, and a lot of these crypto companies do not. They're not BlackRock, though.
That's true. They're not BlackRock. It feels a little bit like a regulatory domino effect. When one regulator goes after them, other regulators say, "Hey, Binance is here too." I wonder if that's going on here. I think it's worth noting that recently Binance also laid off a handful of employees, citing all of the litigation that's happening with.
They weren't all lawyers, though. I don't think the people that were laid off at Binance were the lawyers.
No,
those guys have a solid job for a while.